Everybody, either on Zoom or on Facebook Live. Welcome to our fifth installment of Wednesday Weekly Skillshare, a program all about learning a new life skill or general life hack during your time here at Pacific. Today's session is all about basic bike mechanics with Gabby. My name is Amber Ratier, and I'm the Graduate Assistant of Competitive Sports at Pacific Recreation, where we be today's moderator and every Wednesday's moderator. The session will be recorded for later posting on our Pacific Recreation YouTube channel. So if you ever have questions about previous Wednesday Weekly Skillshares, we have a playlist of all of those recordings on there. The session is also live on Facebook, so if you have any questions either on the Facebook Live, you can drop them in the comment box, or if you have any questions on the Zoom Live, just drop them in the chat box and I'll ask them at the end of today's session. And then for anybody who is a Pacific affiliated person, I will be dropping a link for a little check-in form. It takes about like 15 seconds, it's just your 989 number and what today's event is. So I'll be putting that both in the Zoom comment box and the Facebook comment box for y'all to do. As a future plug, next week's session will be Wednesday, of course, at 2:30, featuring Mary Lou, and they will be going over voting procedures for upcoming elections. So super important because we had our first presidential debate last night. And at this time, I will hand the virtual microphone over to Gabby.
All right, let me share my screen. Oh, could you enable screen sharing?
Okay, you should be good to go now.
Perfect. Okay, so I made a little slideshow here just to tell you guys what I will be talking about today. So, basic bike mechanics. So my background, as you guys may or may not know, I have been a lifetime mountain biker since I was about 2.5. I learned how to ride a mountain bike, and since then I have been an avid mountain biker here, where mountain biking was actually invented where I live. And I raced for 4 years in the NorCal Mountain Biking League. And I've been working at a bike shop, and I've been working on my bike meanwhile throughout this time. And this is just general like things to bring on a mountain or any type of bike ride. So you should always bring a helmet for head protection. Lots of people can get concussions even with wearing a helmet, but helmets definitely protect your head. You should always bring a water bottle. You should bring snacks just in case you're on a long ride and you get hungry or thirsty. It's good to have both of those things with you. And a mask, and to stay 6 feet apart from others, as you all already know. And a backpack, like a camelback or any type of exercise backpack that's good for holding tools or holding your water bottle and snacks. Sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever used a camelback, but they have a bladder, so you can just attach your water and just drink it while you're doing your activity or biking. It's always good to bring a first aid kit just in case anything happens, and this is normally for more serious mountain biking if you're going for a more technical ride, but it's always good to have a first aid kit. And a compact pump and extra tube. So if you don't know, if your bike gets a flat tire, you can actually replace it all on your own, and all you really need is a pump, an extra tube, or CO2, that's another method, and tire levers. And you also need to know what size of tire you have, depending on what type of tube to buy. So most bikes come in either a 26-inch tube or a wheel, a 27.5, or a 29-inch wheel. And those are basically the only ones that you'll find in stores. And a multi-tool, so it looks like the one on the right here on the presentation. It has like lots of different little heads to it, so you can do lots of different things, lots of different tools on that. And a chain breaker, so this is good for if you're on a mountain bike ride or any type of bike ride and your chain breaks. It's always good to have a chain breaker to fix that on your own. And a bike belt. A lot of people don't actually think of this, but if you're on trails that are like meant for one person at a time, they're like single track trails, it's always good to have a bell just to let others know that you're approaching, and sometimes people have earbuds in and stuff, so it's always good to have a bell with you. And this is what you should do before you go on any bike ride or any mountain bike ride. It's to lube your chain. And there are lots of different types of lube you can get for your chain, but dry lube or regular bike lube is what you should find. You can find this in any bike store. And I will actually be showing you guys how to do this. I don't know, you can also, here, I should stop screen sharing so I can show you right here. All right, so I have my bike right here. This is a bike that I like to ride most often. And so to lube your chain, all you will need is your chain lube. I am not sure what type this is because it's faded away, but so you'll need your chain lube, and you can just open it up and then drip it right on your chain, and then you'll need to pedal backwards with your hand. Just rotate your pedals, and you want to do this like a couple times while you're dripping it onto your chain. Oops. You can do it like 1 to 2 times, I would say. And then you'll want to take a rag, like just a dirty rag that you have, and then you want to hold it in your hand and then taco it. So go like this. And then you're going to put this at the bottom of your chain, and then you will do the same thing, pedal it backwards. So to remove all the excess that you have on here. And you can do that, you should do that before any ride, especially when it's hot out and it's dry out. That can ensure that your chain will stay, it won't break, and that your chain stays working well and shifting well. And yeah, most of all, so it doesn't get rusty, so it doesn't create other problems that can cause it to break. All right, let me share my screen again. So like I talked about, you drip it onto the bottom part of your chain, the part that's visible, and you drip it right on as you're spinning your pedal backwards, and you can run it through 1 to 2 times is a good amount. You can do more if you want, but you'll just be rubbing that off when you use your rags to get the excess off. And next, how to change a tube when your tire is flat. So I just kind of wrote down the steps here, but I will be showing you guys how to do that right now. So if I stop sharing, here we go. So I will be using my sister's bike for this method because my bike actually doesn't have tubes, it's tubeless. So first of all, you want to turn your bike upside down so you can get your tires off really easily. And let me move you guys closer so you guys can see better. So right on the end of your tire or your wheel, you have this little, I don't know what you call it, this little, I forget what it's called, but it just goes right through to hold it in. And normally you can just twist it and it can come right off. And after you twist it, you want to make sure you keep all of the pieces. So you remember to put them all back on like they came off. So I have this here, then I have this little spring, then I have the end piece. So you want to keep all those pieces just so you don't forget to put them back on. So now you can take your tire right out. And I can move this out of the way. And now all you will need is a tire lever to actually get the tube off, and that looks like this. You can find this at any bike mechanic store, and this just helps you, because it can be really hard to get the tube off of your bike, so this kind of just assists you in that. So you have your, let me turn you guys this way for some better lighting. So you have your tire right here. First of all, you want to take some air out of your tire. So all you have to do is there's this little knob right here. You'll find this, and you'll just unscrew it a little bit. You don't have to unscrew it that much, and just press on it, and you'll hear the air coming out. So you want to do that to get some air out. And now that it's pretty squishy, you can see I can squish it a lot. So once it's pretty squishy, that's about time for you to take it off. So there's a lot of different methods to help you take it off, but you can just like pinch it and pull it back is what I like to do. And then I like to stick the twist or the turn side of the tire lever right in here. So you can catch this side of the tire. This can be pretty tricky because some tires can be really tight. But almost got it. Ah. Sorry, I am having some trouble with this one. This one's pretty tight. Sometimes some newer tires can be a lot tighter than older tires, but let me take a little more air out. All right, let's see. Maybe I can hook it with the other side. No. Hold on one second. I think this tire is fairly new, so it's usually a lot tighter. Let me go away from the top. Okay, I got it. So once I have it in here, I kind of just pull it like this, and I pull it over the rim of the tire and kind of work it around the rim. So with this tire lever, I take it and I pull it. And then you'll pull it around the whole rim of the wheel to get it off. And as you can tell, the tire is now not connected. So you can just take the tire off, or you can just take the tube right out of here. So you can take the tube right out, and then this is normally what is punctured when you have a flat tire. So let me bring my stool to sit on over here. So when you have a flat tire, this is usually punctured. There's different methods. You can also get a patch kit. So you don't even have to get a new tube, and then you can just, sorry, there's a car driving by. You can just patch the tube, and then you don't even have to replace the tube itself. Or you can just buy a new tube. They're usually pretty inexpensive, like $5 to $6, and then you replace that. So to do that, you go to this little nozzle up here, what we loosened earlier, and then there's going to be this little screw off little nut up here. So you're just going to unscrew it and take it all the way off. So it's going to look like this. And you actually really need to keep this. It looks very tiny and insignificant, but it makes a big difference. And then once you take that off, you can actually take your tube all the way out of your bike. So, or all the way out of your tire. So you just take that little nozzle and you can just take it right out of the little hole. And then here you are, you have your tube. And this tube actually does not have a hole in it, so I'll just be putting the same one back in. But to do that, you want to take your tube out of your box. Usually it's just folded up into a little box that you can get it in, and then it'll have no air in it, so you'll want to pump a little bit of air in it, just a little bit, not a ton. You don't want to pump it all of the way. and that helps so that when you're putting it back into your wheel, it doesn't get folded or creased or anything. So it doesn't actually cause any problems when you are trying to ride your bike, because that can also create, it will create its own problem. So you want to pump it up a little bit. So as you can see, it kind of has a circular shape. It's not pumped up very much. You can still move it a lot, but you can see there's some air in it. So you'll want to take the little piece, and once you get it, it'll have the little screw nut thing on. So you'll want to screw that all the way off. Take this and put it back in the little hole in your rim. Push it back in there, and then you'll want to just feed it into your tire. So you just push it right in, and all the way through your whole tire. All the way through. And you want to make sure it doesn't get twisted or anything. This one's a little twisted, so I need to fix that. All right. Okay, now it's basically all the way in here. So you're going to want to do the whole thing backwards. So you're going to want to take your tire lever, and you're going to want to get your tire back inside of your rim. So right now it's loose. You can see, I can put my hand in there. And so you'll want to take your tire lever and kind of pop it back on. Usually you can even do it with your hand. And you'll just want to put it in place along your whole tire. Do this by hand, but the end part is what gets difficult and what you'll need your tire lever for. So it's like halfway done. Just feed it through more. All right. Almost all the way done. Some people can even just pull it back on. So look, oh, there we go. I just pulled it really hard with my hands, and it just popped right back in. I didn't even need to use my tire lever, but sometimes they're a lot stiffer and it's a lot harder. So now you're going to want to take your pump. Let me see, where did my pump go? I thought I had it right here. Uh-oh. Where did the pump go? Well, there are lots of different pumps. You can get like a floor pump, just one that you probably seen to like pump up basketballs and other types of things. And then you just put the tip, put it right on the little nozzle part. And then you're going to want to just pump it until you have the PSI that you would like. So that's like the tire pressure that you'd like. In mountain biking, when you're racing, it's a lot of people have different ideas of like what different tire pressure they like. So let's just say you're doing like a ride on a lot of pavement. You'd want like a really high tire pressure, because it would just let you be more efficient while you're climbing and while you're on the road. But if you're going down like some rocks like you would in mountain biking, you want a lower tire pressure, because it would help you kind of just stick on the rocks a lot better. And so there's a lot of different PSIs you can have your tire at. But let me see, maybe I can find a smaller, a handheld pump right over here. Here's an example of a Camelback that's full of different tools. And there should be a handheld pump in here. So you would have your tube in here. This is what it looks like when you get it. And you just keep that for your rides. Let's see what else. Another valve for a Camelback, another good thing to keep in your backpack. Some bars for snacking. Some more brake pads. So that's when you run out of brake. When you're braking and you're all out of your, how do I explain that? Like you're all out of your brakes and then they're rubbing, you need to replace your brake pads every so often. can do that on your own, or you can also take it to a bike shop. That's a lot more complicated though, but you can learn how to do that on YouTube and other methods. But my pump is actually in the car, but which is right over there. I don't really need to get that out and show you guys. You guys probably can figure that out on your own. You can just take your pump, put it on, then you want to make sure you put this back on once you're done. That just keeps your tube in place, and it makes sure that it doesn't like get sucked in to your actual tire. And then once you pump it up all the way, you will have a brand new tire ready to put on your bike. And you just put it back on the same way you took it off. So you take your pieces and you just like twist it on, and then you screw it in once your tire is in place, and then you're ready to keep biking. And once you do this more often, once you get some flat tires, it becomes a lot easier, and you kind of understand your own tires and understand how they work, because a lot of tires are different, and some are tighter, some are looser, some are easier to fix, and some are more finicky. But once you do it more often, you kind of get the hang of it. And let's see, I can put this back on here. I kind of just gave you all the steps you would need right here, just in case you wanted to have those just to look at, just to make it a little more simple, but I showed you guys how to do that right here. And let's see. And then I have a question, or are there any questions about anything mountain biking related, or anything related at all surrounding bike mechanics?
The one question that we do have right now is just, is there a part of the bike that you would have wished you would have known about earlier, or like just a part of bike mechanics that you wish you would have known earlier?
I would have to say it would be learning about my chain, just because that's another thing that is probably one of the most common things to break on your bike. So while I was racing during my race season, I wasn't very good at it. I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I didn't really know how to fix my chain just in case it broke. And it did actually break. And during a race, that's like the one thing you don't want to happen, because you're trying to race as fast as you can on your bike, but then when you get a mechanical problem, it becomes a lot more complicated. Then you have to fix it, or if somebody else helps you fix it, you get a penalty. So definitely the basic things like learning how to change a tire if it gets flat, that's definitely one of the most important in fixing a chain. So definitely those basic things are the most crucial when you're on a mountain bike ride, and those things happen the most commonly. So if you know how to do those things, you're pretty good to go on a mountain bike ride or any type of bike ride. But the more complicated issues with my bike, I leave that to my dad or my bike mechanic who they know how to do the very complicated things. I just know the basics, how to change my tire, or how to change my, how to put a tube in if it's flat, how to fix a chain, how to change my brake pads, all that kind of stuff. But it can definitely get a lot more complicated. All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Grace, did you have a question?
No, but actually I learned how to bike over the summer, so it's pretty helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
So nice.
That was our only question for you, Gabby. So
Okay.
I think we will wrap this up. This was awesome. I really appreciated your actually showing us how to do all the things with the tubes. It's always easier when somebody actually walks you through it versus just talking.
Right.
So really appreciate that, and appreciate your time and coming on here. Again, just as a plug of next week, we'll be going over voting and like how to and all that basics. And then as a future plug, I think it's in 3 weeks, Gabby will actually come back on the show. It's a show now, and go through some good old crafting in a half hour. So yeah, just want to thank you again, Gabby, and see y'all next time. Awesome.